Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Iroan Games, and today we're doing Let's Talk Legendary, and today we'll be talking about ANARA, the WOLVID Familiar. So ANARA, the WOLVID Familiar, is from an unknown plane, so there's not much history behind her as well. ANARA is a wolf beast who is a mage's familiar. As you can see by the card, it's a familiar. As with most mage's familiars, we do not know the birthplace or the age of this legendary creature. When a hunter summons ANARA, it will hunt better than you. So when you go hunting, ANARA will slay all the beasts for you and the enemies if you have any. ANARA expects very few things from the hunter who summoned her. Those would be such occasional things as scratch around the antlers, wants some of the cut of the slain beast for her den, and to have her back in combat. And actually, that is it. That is currently all the information we have on ANARA at the moment. With that being said, with all the information about her, she's only represented in one card. As you can see, ANARA the WOLVID Familiar with 3 colors and a forest. As long as it's your turn, commanders you control have Indestructible. It also has the ability Partner, where it says if you have 2 commanders, if you both have a partner, 4/4. And that is it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and have a good day and a good evening. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Iroan Games. Today we'll be talking Let's Talk Legendary. Today we'll be doing ANJE FLAKENRATH. So ANJE FLAKENRATH, as you can tell, is a vampire who is from the plane of Innistrad. She is from the FLAKENRATH vampire family, which is really a really old family. She's actually one of the most cruel, and even her family standards say that she is actually one of the most cruel person in the entire family. When ANJE was once with a hunting pack, they were corrupted by the Iroan. She wanted to reclaim the castle back for the FLAKENRATH's hands. But the people who actually took, in quotations, were monks of the Heron's Grace who built their place or temple on top of the ruins of the castle of FLAKENRATH. Olivia Voldaren, another scion or family member of another family, wanted to control the FLAKENRATH as she knew how ruthless the family could be. So what Olivia did was that she made ANJE her maid of honor, which is nothing more than ANJE could do about because it's part of the way things are run. But as a result of this, she was trapped and is constantly trying to figure out ways to not be her maid of honor. So her predicament is not quite solved yet, though she did manage to drink a lot of blood during this process. And that's actually all the information we have on ANJE right now. So ANJE is actually represented in 2 cards in the Magic world, which is surprising because most people only have 1. So this first one, if you've seen throughout the video as well, she has a legendary creature vampire. Costs 3 to bring out this 1/3 haste. Tap it, discard a card, draw a card. When you discard a card, if it has madness, untap her. So that's actually kind of really cool. So the next card she's represented is in ANJE, Maid of Dishonor. Costs 4 mana for this 4/5. Basically, it says whenever a vampire enters the battlefield under control, create a blood token. This ability triggers once each turn. Or you can say sacrifice a creature or a blood token. Each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life just for 2 colorless. So ANJE is actually only associated with 1 card, which as you can see is ANJE's Ravager. Basically it says ANJE's Ravager attacks each turn if able. Basically it was when this person was corrupted by the Iroan. So this 3/3 is just basically a vampire berserker. So the next few cards ANJE is associated or quoted into. So this one in Aggravate it says, Barbarians, they burned my favorite chair. We'll kill them all. ANJE. It's funny. Next card is a Bleed Dry, and it says, Wipe your chin, child. We can't have Olivia thinking we're uncivilized. ANJE. Next card we have is Crossway Troublemakers, and it says, Lady ANJE said no violence at the wedding. She never said anything about the journey there. So, anyway, the journey is, you can see the vampires are having fun on the way there. Then we have FLAKENRATH Perforator. It says, Lady ANJE sends her regards. I'll carve the rest of her message into your skin. Then we got FLAKENRATH Reaver. Basically, it says, with this huge saying is, each day there are new reports of homes along the Gertner Pass and hospital falling to the vampires and more savage nature. I've heard tell that ANJE has returned. Please send whatever help you can. Next is Insatiable Gorgers. It says, Drink deeply, for there is no tomorrow. ANJE. And you can see in the picture they're going crazy already. And the last and final card that she is associated with is Neonate's Rush. It says, We spend our entire existence pursuing the joy of our first night's feast. ANJE. And that's all the information and all the cards we have about her. And I hope you enjoyed the videos, and I hope you guys have a good day and a good evening. Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we're doing Let's Talk Legendary, and today we'll be talking about Breaches, the Brazen Plunderer. So Breaches is actually a goblin from the planet of Ixalan, as you can see in the picture. Breaches serves on Vreska's Beleriand, who is part of the Brazen Coalition. Breaches is great at telling stories of legends very enthusiastically. He has an amazing talent for gunnery. He was part of the crew that was sent to Oraza to steal the Immortal Sun. Breaches and his crew were unable to acquire the Immortal Sun, but they did manage to pillage the Golden City, which provided very successful and profit. And Breach's best friend is actually another legendary creature, the siren called Malcolm. And that is all the current information we have on Breaches right now. So Breaches is represented in one card right now, and it's, well, the one you've seen throughout the video. It's a cost 4 mana for the 3/3 menace. Whenever one or more pirates you control deal damage to an opponent's, exile the top card of each opponent's libraries. You may play those cards this turn. You may spend mana as though it were not mana of any color of the chosen spells, and then it has partner as well. So it's not bad for an uncommon. So Breaches is actually only associated with one other card, which is cool because it's from the Master Series, is Gamble. It says Stuff and Sundries and Munitions. Breaches, Gunner of the Belligerent. And that is all the information we have on him, all the cards. So I hope you guys have a good day and a good evening. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Runesnow, and today we're going to be doing Let's Talk Legendary, and today we're going to talk about Iroas. So let's begin talking about Iroas. So Iroas is actually the god of victory. There's actually not a lot of information on this god. Basically he is from Theros and is inspired by the goddess of victory Nike from Greek mythology. So Iroas is the god of victory and honor, often taking a form of a centaur, though as you can see in the picture, it's sometimes the lower half is being a bull. He governs bravery and valor in battle, which can also be associated with warfare. Iroas actually has a twin named Mogus, who is actually the god of slaughter. Mogus commands the dark side of war. Often, Iroas and Mogus are always sparring with each other. Iroas is actually the patron of Akros, which is located in the Katkachan Mountains. He's actually established the Iroan Games, in which many of the MTG cards are related to. So believe it or not, that's actually all the information that is about him, and he's actually represented in one card, as you can see, Iroas, the god of victory. So his card actually costs 4 mana for a 7/4, and it's an indestructible, and as long as your devotion is red or white, is less than 7, it isn't a creature, which is really cool because the white and red can be associated with his twin Mogus. Creature control have menace, prevent all damage to be dealt to your attacking creatures, again, which is really cool. I like this legendary card, it's pretty fun to play with. It's not the best, but it's fun. Now there are many cards associated with this guy, so let's begin. So the very first card that we have is Armory of Iroas. As you can see, it says equip 2, and whenever a creature attacks, it gets a +1/+1 counter. And the cards are really cool. As you can see, it's the shields and everything that is associated with Iroas. So let's move on to next. So the next card is Favorite of Iroas, and its the ability says Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, Favorite gains double strike until end of turn. And the purple, I guess, temporal thing behind it is probably the ability from Iroas, because he is favorite, right? Which makes total sense with this picture, and it says the promise of victory fills my heart. There is no room for fear. So the next card he's associated with is Hero of Iroas. It says Aurora spells cost 1 less to cast, and it says my left has failed the Cyclops, my right has slain a giant. I bring both to every fight. And as you can see, because it's the Hero of Iroas, it's possibly the games, and in the very far background you can see the god there as a statue watching over that. Next card is Iroas Blessing, and it says the blessing is not the strength itself, but the knowledge of how to use it. And it's a pretty cool picture, because again, it might be related to him fighting with Mogus's, so it could be his creature versus his creature. And either way, it's a really cool picture, and it goes well. So the next card on our list is Aurora's Champion, and it says, accustomed to battling before an audience in the arena, Aurora's Champion know how to put up a good show. Again, it goes related to the Iroan Games. So that's really cool. Again, like most cards I keep saying are cool. The next card it's associated with is Kalimi. It's a disciple of Iroas, which is actually a legendary creature, which is some information alone on the worship of Iroas she does. And it's really cool because it gets +1/+1 for each experience counter you have. Again, goes with the story of her having all these battles and won. Next card is Priest of Iroas. Even my last breath will be a blow struck for Iroas. Again, 100% everything about this is dedicated to that god, as you can see in the background. So the next card is actually a land. It's the Temple of Triumph, and when this card was released, not the M21, it has to do with the Iroan Games. As you can see, that's where it was held. It has to do with that Greek mythology, and it's just a cool card in general. And the last card he is associated with is the first Iroan Games, and again, the picture explains everything, as well as the story I've explained everything. Shows all what they've done in the games to prove that they're the best warriors. Now, there are actually 3 cards that he's depicted in. As you can see in this card, it's Acolyte's Reward, and there he is in the space over the Temple of Triumph. Another card he's depicted in is Dictate of the Twin Gods, which I actually think this is one of my favorite cards that he's associated or depicted in. As you see, those two are fighting, him and Mogus, the twins. Just overall, good card, and it says, Aros and Mogus are different in appearance as they are in personality. And the last card he's actually depicted in, as you can see in the picture, and there he is with Indomitable Will, charge bravely, fight selfishly, act honorably, Iroas will watch over you. Vernus, priest of Iroas, and there he is watching over the body. Good card. So he's actually only quoted in 2 cards, and the first one is Arena Athlete, and it says, the Iroan Games award no medals, athletes, via for a visit from the Aros, the god of victory. Makes sense, it's in the Temple of Triumph, there he is fighting. Perfect card. And the last card Iroas is quoted in, it says, only a fool takes Phoenix as his word. What do you expect from a god born of lies and betrayal? Vernus, priest of Iroas. Perfect, makes sense. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and welcome to watch more Let's Talk Legendary videos on my channel. Have a good day and a good evening. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Runestone, and today we're doing Let's Talk Legendary. And today we're talking about JADAR, GHOULCALLER of NEPHALIA. JADAR is actually a human who was born in NEPHALIA on the plane of Innistrad. JADAR is considered the foremost GHOULCALLER in the area where he was born. Before JADAR had turned into necromancy, he was actually a surgeon, but he went to necromancy thinking it would help cure the plague. When JADAR became a great necromancer, he became all that was obsessed with now. He even resurrected everyone in his town and called it the cleansing, basically. At this point, he starts resurrecting from the marsh known as Morkart. This usually sends the corpses to do some kind of task for his pure enjoyment. One time he was even trying to acquire more bodies for necromancy, but he actually found too much. He even found one massive turtle. So he thought, well, maybe he can use magic, and he did, to reanimate this turtle, and he even made it larger. He called this turtle Gorex, and he uses this Gorex as his main travel companion. And that is actually all the information we have on JADAR at the moment. So JADAR is actually only represented in 1 card, but is quoted and referred to in many cards, but this one is he's represented in himself. It says, at the beginning of your end step, if you control no creatures with decay, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with decayed. It costs 2 mana to bring out this 1/1, which is very impressive. Basically, you can attack with a zombie and get a free one every turn. So we're going to go over some cards that he's quoted or referred to, and this one is being Ghoul Raiser. Basically, when it enters the battlefield, return a zombie card at your random from your graveyard to your hand, so the pictures. And then the saying is, come, bring your brothers, tonight you feast on living flesh. JADAR, GHOULCALLER of NEPHALIA. And then this card is quite a disturbing picture. In Skeletal Grimace, the saying goes, and then I realized, we all have skeletons on the inside. Why wait until the bodies are dead to control them? JADAR, GHOULCALLER of NEPHALIA. And again, with that picture it associates with saying, it is a very disturbing picture card. Next card we have is Vile Rebirth from, believe it or not, M13. It says, here lies our beloved Gartu, the gentlest of all men. Oh, I love the irony. JADAR, GHOULCALLER of NEPHALIA. And the last card he's quoted or referred to in is the Walking Corpse from M21. It says, feeding a normal army is a problem of logistics. With zombies, it is an asset. Feeding is why they fight. Feeding is why they are feared. JADAR, GHOULCALLER of NEPHALIA. So that's all the cards and all the information, again, as I said, on JADAR at the moment. And I hope you guys have a good day and a good evening. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Runestone, and today we'll be doing Let's Talk Legendary, and today we'll be talking about Jarkeld. So Jarkeld is actually from the plane of Dominaria, from the city known as Kajodor. Jarkeld was actually a general who came to be known as the Arctic Fox. As general, he had an amazing tactical brilliance, and with him, his men were actually trained by even the Fyndhorn Elves. He was actually only alive during what was known as the Ice Age on Dominaria. He and his men actually had one time had to battle in the Adakar Wastes, where he was actually presumed dead. But it was actually said that JADAR had created an image of JARKAL during the fight. This was actually to boost the morale against the army of Limdol. As for the real JARKAL, we actually don't know what became of him, and that's all the information we have on him. So with so little information on this general, he is in a lot of magic cards. So he's represented only in one card, as you've seen throughout the video. It basically says, switch the blocking creatures of 2 target attacking creatures. All defense must remain legal. Use this ability only during combat and after defense has been chosen. It costs 4 mana to bring out this 1/2 JARKAL out into play. So JARKAL is associated with one card right now, and it's only Lost Order of JARKAL from the Ice Age series. And it says Lost Order of JARKAL has the power and toughness equal to 1 plus the number of creature target opponent controls. Interesting picture, interesting card. So let's move on to actually, there's a lot of quoted or referred to cards that he is in. With that being said, the first card is Adakar Unicorn from Ice Age, and it says, there is no nobler creature in all of Terrasaria. General JARKAL, the Arctic Fox. Next we have is Arctic Foxes from Ice Age, and basically the saying says, those foxes are wily, swift, and ferocious. These are the warriors of the snows, by JARKAL. So the next card is actually Battle Cry. I'm not going to say any more. Most of these cards are from the Ice Age block series. And it says, in the thick of battle, you must keep your wits about you. Yelling a lot also helps. General JARKAL. So the next card is Breath of Dreams. And I actually kind of like the card. It looks really cool. And I know it has cumulative upkeep. And God, I hope they don't bring that back into Magic. But the saying goes, get up, blast you. They're attacking. Why are you so slow? General JARKAL, the Arctic Fox. That's one of my favorite sayings on those cards. Another quotation is, these elves train our healers and we keep our orcs at bay. Most elvish bargains aren't as fair. General JARKAL, Arctic Fox. Next we have is Finhorn Brownie. That's right, you summon a brownie. And the saying is, I've been insulted by drunks in 100 inns, but never as skillfully and as annoyingly as those blasted brownies. General JARKAL, the Arctic Fox. Next we have is Hyperion, and the saying goes, someone once said that Hyperions are to warriors, what the Aesir are to the Sky Knights. Don't believe it. General JARKAL. The next card we have is Lightning Blow, and the saying is, if you didn't do it right, they'll never know what hit them. It's a really cool card. I'm not going to say who says it because they're all what he's saying, but interesting picture though. Next we have is Pygmy Allosaurus. Has basically a swamp walk, but the saying he says is, I don't understand the appeal of keeping these things as pets, unless you want your children eaten. Good saying for sure. Next we have is the card Rally, and it says all blocking creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn, but the saying goes, stand your ground, troops. This shall be your finest hour. Apparently it was his last words. The next card we have is Sea Spirit, and it has, well, it rose above our heads, above the ship, and still higher yet. No foggy, ice-laden sea in the world could frighten me more. And as you see in the picture, it is actually higher than the ship. Then we got the card Snowhound, which is an interesting saying on this one because it says, if you're starving, eat your horses, eat your dead, or yourself, but never eat your dog. I guess that goes with the picture, I guess. And then we got Tarpan. Well, it's basically the going says, a good Tarpan will serve you, faithful and true. A bad one will kick you in the head. Great saying. And the last card on our list is Thunderwall. And the saying goes, the Limeris had barely taken wing when the sky roared with thunder. The swarm of these little beasts wavered, divided, and fell crashing to the earth. So again, that's all the information and all the cards we have on this guy. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you guys as well have a good day and a good evening. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Runestone. Today we're going to do Let's Talk Legendary, and today we're going to be talking about Calamine, Disciple of Iroas. So Calamine, Disciple of Iroas, is actually a legendary giant from Theros. And actually, she is actually different from most giants, because giants are born from the land, draw strength from the surging water, old trees, anything from the land really, while she draws her strength from the devotion to the god Iroas. So as you know, she is actually the disciple of Iroas, and she is a savage brute. She leads many superhuman troops, such as dragons, giants, and even angels. She has many triumphs that are glorious, won by her superior skill and amazing strategy. And that's actually all the information there is about her. There's not much that. And she's only represented in one card, herself. So the one card that she's in, as you can see, is a red-white mana. It's a legendary creature, which she is, and a giant soldier. And look how tall she is compared to the normal humans. She has double strike and village, and whenever you cast a spell with a convert mass 5 or greater, you get an experience counter. And it gets a +1/+1 for each experience counter. Again, it ties in the story with her battles and triumphs, and she would get those +1/+1s with more experience. It just works out. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys have a good day and a good evening. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Iroan. So today we're doing Let's Talk Legendary, and today we'll be talking about Lathril, the Blade of the Elves. So Lathril is actually an elf who became a god who was born on Skemfar on the plane of Kaldheim. Lathril became an Aenar on Kaldheim, where Aenar were the gods of Kaldheim before the current gods, who were the Skadi. Lathril is so old she was born before the elves were split into 2 races. Because of her, it was actually the reason why the elves stayed together in power for so long. She is a master tactician and would not be afraid to battle any enemy personally quite often, beating those kind of odds. There is actually something called the Lathril's Chant, which is the tale among all elves about Lathril's life. The tale includes her fight with the cosmos monster Irdemoa, or her godhood. Her consciousness is believed to be in one of the Jasper trees awaiting for her return. This return would unite all the Shadow and Wood Elves once more, some say. A wolf named Kit was actually kidnapped by Lathril and saved Kit, who was one of Seroph's children. Because of this act, Seraph and her people were allowed to roam Seroph's territory. Lucia, one of Seroph's daughters, accompanied Lathril after saving her brother. And that's actually all the information we have at the moment. So Lathril, the Blade of the Elves, is actually represented on 1 card, which you've seen throughout the whole video, with 2 colors, a swamp and a forest. It has Menace with a 2/3 elf gnome, legendary creature obviously. It says when it deals damage to a player, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. Tap. 10 untapped elves you control, each opponent loses 10 life and you gain 10 life. That's a really cool card, especially how you can pump out elves so much, so this would be very good in a vintage deck. So she's actually associated with 1 card called Crown of Skemfar with 2 colors and 2 forests. Enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each elf you control and has reach. Wow. And then you can return it from your graveyard for 2 colors and a forest. This is all really good. You just can't beat that. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you like it, there's more on the channel, and I hope you guys have a good day and a good evening. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Iroan. So today we're doing Let's Talk Legendary, and today we'll be talking about LIER, Disciple of the Drowned. So LIER is actually a human from the plane of Innistrad. As you can see in the picture, you can guess that he's some kind of high priest of a cult that worships the ancient god of the sea. This cult was founded by a vampire Rumo Stromkirk, no less. His cult basically says that land was not meant to be walked on, so the surface is evil. When this ancient god returns, he supposedly will destroy or cover all the land is above the sea. As this happens, the faithful will be awarded with a paradise. And that is actually all the information we have at this time for LIER. So LIER is actually represented in 1 card alone, so this makes this video really short. So this LIER Disciple of the Drowned costs 3 colors and 2 island to put into play. It's a 3/4. But it's really cool this legendary creature has because it says spells can't be countered. Each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. This flashback cost equal to the card's mana cost. So if you get this out, I think this is actually really cool. If you can get them out, it can be really annoying with, like, say, blue bounce or whatever it is. And that's it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a wonderful evening.